It's only 4 minutes, but that still shows a lack of discipline. My name is FRANCESFOX, and I'm a specialist in remote viewing and all the other psychic skills. And I was trained within a military and a scientific atmosphere in a program that I was in, seeking human potential and seeking ultimately magic, which means a creation of what you want in spite of the reality of the physical dimension. That is what we all need to look for today, having to do with what's going on in the world. When I got up this morning, I just simply wanted to skip this particular chat, but I'm disciplined. And even if I think nobody is listening, and certainly from the numbers, it looks like nobody is listening, I still have an intention, which is to get this information out to the public so that they can have some tools that will help them remain standing, even if the whole system collapses. Because that's a law. There's a fundamental law on this planet, which is that you create your reality through your intention. The problem is that your intention can be knocked out of the box, diminished, diluted, forgotten when you have other intentions that have been triggered by fear or by multitasking. If something bad happens, and there's an awful lot bad happening on the planet, and I'm not being negative, you have to deal with the existing reality, even if it's just to protect yourself from it. But there is just so much going on, and there's so many vulnerable points in which everything can collapse because of where we're at in written human history. And I'm not sure that we can say that it was just a ton of mistakes and all these bad people. Lack of information. Doing a lot of things that maybe we shouldn't have been doing. Excuse me while my magical, come on. No, don't do that and then not come. This my dog would like to sit with me, which he always does to anchor me when I do my chats. Come on. The problem is he also wants to sit on top of the keyboard. So there is a reality that we all have to deal with. The reality is going to get much more complicated, and it's getting more complicated by the minute. And a lot of it has to do with people talking about how bad things are or how bad they could get, which is why I don't feel good about saying it. But you need to know that the other dimensions are totally chaotic for everything, not limited to business. I was mentioning to somebody the other day, I don't know how any couple could stay together. The energies in the other dimension don't want anybody to be happy, to sleep, to be healthy, to have relationships, and particularly to be in business or love relationships, families. They don't want that. The other dimensions, the beings that are extremely active and focused and knowledgeable in the other dimensions. So, in countries where prosperity is so important, such as here in the United States, to not be prosperous is a very big problem. And to have the system that supported your prosperity be teetering is a huge problem. And yet, magic exists on the planet, and focused intention that you are vitalizing can create the magic that it doesn't matter what happens. You can be standing and operational. You may want to make some adjustments due to what's going on to kind of get out of the way of the speeding cars, but you can stay where you're at. One thing that is going to be challenged is your belief systems and what you think you should do, need to do in order to stay prosperous, to stay in business. If you're not in love with your product, or you were in love with your product and now you fell out of love, or you just simply are neutral on your product, it's going to be very hard to keep your intention vitalized, to keep that product going in the middle of chaos, which is why I always say prosperity in the middle of chaos. So learning how to focus, learning how to keep your attention on what it is that you want, but not desire. It has to be intention. Two different things. Desires, I'd like to have this. Oh yes, And intention causes a vector to extend from your body towards what you want. And that literally is the definition in the dictionary. It's a thrusting, a moving towards what it is that you want. Keeping that intention vector is everything. This morning I had to go to the dentist. I have big issues with the dentist because they did a lot of stuff in this area, in this program I was in. Nobody likes a dentist anyway, but I have a particularly high level of distrust and fear of the dentist. So I was on my way and I was going on and on and on. And what mantra, and let me deprogram my fear from being in the military program and what they did to my. And I went, no. I can only do one intention. I've got 20 minutes in the car. Drive and do my mantra. And so I finally chose that the appointment be magical, because I had so many different things I wanted to collapse so they wouldn't bother me, and that I wanted to get, and then just one thing, that the visit be magical. It kind of was. It was totally flat in terms of fear. I didn't have any fear. And it was good. If I had not done that mantra or some equivalent since actually last night to prepare for the visit, today I would have been traumatized simply because of my history. So choosing a mantra and then sticking with it, or changing it if that perhaps you find that is not really addressing the issue, is very important. Keeping your focus. Today, multitasking has made us all weak. It's great when you're on the computer and you can check and you can open it. Oh, somebody says something and then everybody pulls out their phone and they're going to look it up. Well, that's very community, but it's not really, because it really has to do with their addiction to Googling something, or their addiction to their phone, and how great they feel when they actually can find a piece of information that contributes to the conversation. But that really is nowhere near as important as the human contact and as the stepping back with a wider lens and being able to see things. Google is not going to have your answer. This is a totally new era. And we have left the age of information, and we are fully into the age of transformation. So what is your company, what is your business doing having to do with being in the age of transformation? How are you facilitating that for people? Because even if they don't know that we left the age of information, we're the age of transformation, they feel it. So what are you giving them? How are you satisfying that need in them for change? Which brings us to the issue of the number one emotional reaction that I'm finding that is even reflected in our decoration, and that is the feeling of being trapped. You know what the color of being trapped is in the other dimensions? It's the color gray. All of the very elegant interior designs today, the core color is gray. Yes, we feel trapped. It's so elegant. I love it. It's very elegant. But I'm aware of what that color means, so I don't have it in my house. And if people who work for me on my social media give me photographs or anything that has a tinge of gray in it, I don't want it. I may feel totally trapped because of all my political issues, but you know what? I'm not going to contribute to that feeling by surrounding myself in gray. How important is color? Well, today everybody has white cars. For a while, they all had silver cars. I think there's a lot of silver again, and then there's black. Okay, well, cars are associated with sex. I have not gotten my act together to tell Elon Musk that. Your car reflects your sexuality, and the color of your car reflects where you're at. So everybody having white cars or gray silver cars is a reflection of the lack of sexual activity, which ultimately ends up in population collapse. Okay, so why am I saying this? Multidimensional business influences. I couldn't put the rest of the words on there because there wasn't enough space. So color influences. What colors are you putting around you? And you don't have to go out and buy new furniture. You all have TV sets and everybody has huge screens. You can put videos on that will have the kind of colors and the kind of movement that will make the people that work for you not feel trapped, such as we have videos with dolphins. So if you have a big screen where you are working, where other people are working, and you have that video on, you're getting something that opens your heart because everybody's hearts opens with dolphins. You're getting blues, which is communication, which is something that is, humans have always needed help with that. You're getting a lot of things that are influences in your business that you can take care of that are basically cost-free. But you had to have the information. Going back to the car again, many years ago I had a boyfriend, and he had actually a lavender car, which I thought was kind of weird. And at the end of the relationship, the last car he had was white. And the minute I saw that choice, I went, okay, this is basically over, which was accurate. So you're listening to me and you're going, okay, but I don't know all that stuff, Francis, you do. You already know more because you listen to me. How many colors are there? There are not that many colors. Red, you know what red represents. Red is like activity. Red can also be fury and anger. It can be vitality. So as long as you don't have too much of it, you're going to have people a little bit lifted up. If you have too much and there's a lot of frequency radiation, then you might get people that are very cranky and anxious because there's too much fire. What I'm saying is, and we're going to do this, make this short today because of what I'm going to say next. What I'm saying is that these multidimensional influences are something that everybody can learn very easily. It's an expression in Spanish. Si tienes dos dedos de frente, if you have 2 inches of forehead, which means you have wisdom, 2 inches of wisdom, you can figure it out. Or you can listen to me enough and you'll pick up a ton of stuff. I did actually, I should pull that up. I did a series on business called Money Magic. Actually, I should absolutely bring that out now. And so I had it professionally filmed. And the man who filmed it was also doing the editing, the camera guy. And I said to him, how did you feel after you finished filming? He said, are you kidding me? I couldn't wait to get home. I said, was it bad? You look like you were enjoying it. You certainly ate enough pastries. And he said, no. I wanted to get home because you told me, and I heard you say that the front door has to do with career and that we have to have an operational bell and the light has to work and there can't be dead plants. Well, my home front doorbell has never worked. Yeah, I need to change the light bulb. It's too dim. And it's been hot this summer, so the plants are kind of like half dead and I haven't taken the time to cut the dead leaves. So I needed to get home to fix that, he said, because I need a boost in my career because things have slowed down and TV. Simple. That's the kind of stuff. That is the kind of stuff that I can show you. It's not complicated, and common sense is a big part of it. Well, why is it I'm going to make this short today? Because since I got up this morning, I went, what's going on? Yesterday, it felt very weird. Everything felt very weird. I'm not talking inside my home. Even though I am still working on that, I have a hallway that's really questionable, having to do with energies. It felt weird. And then I got up this morning and I went for my appointment, and it just felt like there was a heaviness. I'm actually going to draw it right now. Let me see if I can find something to lean on And I am going to sketch, because I'm going to put it up on the new Twitter, which is X. And I'm sure that one day I'll get used to saying that. And then I need to work on being happy with that. Though it is actually a logo and a symbol that has to do with where we're going. And if you don't like change, as I really don't like change, you're going to struggle, because change is landing on all of us. So let's say that this is the United States, and I actually kind of don't remember how to draw the United States, but let's say it's this, which I know I'm not drawing it correctly. So what is it that I'm feeling? There's a huge congestion of depression over the country, but there's also an energy of anticipating, but not anticipating something good, like you're waiting for something. And a lot of people have said it, and they say it a lot on X, on Twitter. It's like we're waiting for something to happen, but it's not a good waiting. Like, oh, I can't wait until the party starts, or I can't wait until the company comes, whatever. So this is depression. We know that. Nobody's going to deny that. Did you know that 15 years ago or 10 years ago, if I told somebody they were depressed, they would take off their shoe and hit me over the head or slap me in the face, because they were not depressed. And then everybody around them would go, okay, shut my mouth. Today, people admit it, and that's good, because in order to change something, you got to kind of accept that you need a change. So the country's depressed. We're waiting for something bad. And on the East Coast, we have a lot of rage, because things are not going the way the people in power wanted to go. So that would be Washington, New York, that whole strip there, which should have a name. It's like a megalopolis. One city rolls into the next and the next and the next. There was small space in between, and now it's just like continuous. They used to call that a megalopolis. Rage, but afraid to do anything. Well, that's kind of good, because I don't want people that are angry to start making decisions, because that's not a good filter. So this is what we're all feeling. This is what I was feeling this morning. And this is what is on top of the country. And this used to be like kind of like the most prosperous country in the world, or at least we all thought that. It's the reason for all the immigration fighting to get over here. This is a miasm. A miasm is odic force, which is astral particles of emotion, which in Hinduism, they know it's a force. When they say, may the force be with you, they're saying, may your emotional astral body be very nicely aligned with your physical. And if it is, you're going to be fine. You are going to have your strength. And that's why Darth Vader said to Luke Skywalker, own your anger. And Luke was just going, oh my God, I don't want to hurt my father. I don't want to do this, whatever. And the father was saying, own your anger. Because if Luke Skywalker owned his anger, he would have the strength he needed to continue with whatever it is. Well, they had confronted each other. So if you want, may the force be with you, to be with you, you have to deal with your emotions. If this country wants to stay strong, vital, it needs to deal with its astral spirit, which is emotions, which at this point is a heaviness of depression. The group that we have that's called the Mantristas, which are only Mantristas because they do mantras. The mind creates reality through the intention of the individual, but the mind gets all knotted up. And a knotted mind is the basis for a lot of disasters in our life. So when I say mantrita, we work on unknotting our minds so that our instrument for creation can create without all these blocks. We're very blocked. And it's a Republican Democrat issue. It's an emotional issue. And the longer this congestion stays over this very poorly written map, I don't have visual memory thanks to the government erasing my memory. So I wouldn't remember the politicians and the stuff that was done and the stuff I participated in. So that's why I can't do a map worth a darn, because I don't have the visual memory. I don't remember what my face looks like, but this is close enough. This is toxic. This opens portals. Portals are open doors to the spirit world. The nice spirits don't come through. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to be okay with myself because I was disciplined enough that I went ahead and did this when honestly I wasn't really in the mood. Nor did I think that there would be anybody seeing me, because I am very definitely held down, sat on, shadow banned, and all the other things that they do now in one of my platforms. They're reducing the quality of my videos to where you can barely see me, the visual quality and also the audio. And it was interesting because I was on a chat, I think it was 2 days ago. No, it was yesterday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Ask Francis. And I could feel when somebody was doing black magic during the chat. That's very usual for me, for people to do that to me. Unfortunately, my enemies, political people, very into black magic. And you could see on screen, everything would get dark. And then I asked the group to please do the mantra for protection. Please, God, help us with our intention to be protected. And then it would get light again. And then it would start up again. It would get dark. So the evidence is getting captured on camera. But the point of the matter is that this magic stuff, which right now I talked about black magic, but there's also really good magic that you need to learn. And we hope to be able to teach you that. So let me see if there's any interesting questions that I can answer here, and then we'll call it a day. And okay. Thank you. Somebody says I'm great. That's good. That's good. I appreciate that. Oh, Octavio says something really neat. Common sense is not really common. That's totally true. Okay, we have Martin that's saying he has a business that's going well, but once in a while things slow down. They have trouble with cash flow. Totally familiar with that. Payroll. How can the biggest boogeyman in my life be payroll? It is, because you have to pay. You have to pay the employees first. But for that, you have to have the money. And if it gets slow, sometimes that's not so much fun. So I'm going to check Martin's. I'm seeing something I'm not that happy with, but I need to make sure that I'm not interpreting a visual incorrectly. So give me a second. Why this would be the answer when you do not appear to have asked this as a question, I don't know. But I see your back door as a problem in terms of loss. I don't know if people are stealing. I don't know if you have stuff that comes in and out the back door in boxes. You know, like with UPS, when they have that little cart and they have all the boxes and they come in and then they go out. I think, and could they possibly be taking that much that it would affect even your cash flow? I don't know, but that is the answer that I got, and I'm generally accurate. Not generally, I'm accurate. So if I were you, I would check. And I also saw the back door, and it was like there was a piece missing at the bottom, and you put like a rubber there. You know, when you put rubber there so that the air conditioning doesn't leave. And I don't know why that's a problem, but apparently it is a problem. So please, Martin, check that out, okay? Okay, so Pessy wants to start a business, but he's not sure it's a good idea. I don't think that you should start it because you're not totally committed, because you're not sure it's good. In order to make it today, you really have to love it. You have got to love it. And I'm not seeing you love it. I'm seeing you doing a very intellectual thing about business. And I'm going to show you a graphic now. This person does not love his work. He has a sales goal, but he doesn't really want to work. He's very angry. He's very depressed. And I'm not saying that you're like that, but that vector that thrusts out from him, look at this. And then you will see, okay, I got an awful lot of pictures up here. Hi, those darn spirits, they're really great. I'm sure that I was the one who took it down, but I was definitely influenced because there's no way I would have not wanted. Okay, I don't have it. But this vector that shoots out from the back, all these little green dots, which are chi, they collect and they come in through the back into this vector, and that is how you achieve incredible things. The trick of the matter is that those congestions in the back, which are emotional issues, block the entrance. The point, though, is that the entrance is the back of the heart chakra. Okay? The back of the heart chakra. If you don't love your business, you are not going to be able to energize it. Your vector will be there, my business, but those green chi dots need to enter through the back of the heart chakra, but your heart chakra is not open to receive and to channel into your vector of intention because you're not really in love with your business. Or you can fall out of love with your business like I did. I really didn't want to be there anymore. And so I had to leave. And it was an interesting leaving, but a lot of you know that story and we're definitely not repeating it. I just found the graphic. Those, and I guess we did the sketch not 100% correct because that almost looks like that chi comes in through the side. It actually comes through and why is there another head back there? My God, why is it I was not able to see this before? Oh, interesting. Those dots are chi. They're God particles. They're all around us. There's more where there's nature, and they enter through the back of the heart chakra if your heart chakra is open. If you are not in love with what you do, your heart chakra is not open. You're behaving mechanically. You're doing all the right things, but you have not energized it to where it becomes something that wonderful. We used to be able to work in companies and not be in love with their product. You can't do that anymore. And I'm not exactly sure what the dynamic of the change was, but we are now very much in touch with our emotions. We know when we're depressed, we know when we're angry. Before we didn't. And I think we know when we're not in love with what we're doing. And I think we also feel a little bit ashamed when we're making a sale or producing something that's going to eventually be sold or exchanged. I think there's a little bit of shame there because you're not in love with it, and yet you're taking money from somebody who took it from you. It just doesn't feel right. And I think people are getting in touch with that. So I'm going to call it, I'm going to say that we have ended. I'm at 28 minutes. How on earth can I talk so much? Yes, I know I'm half Cuban, but still. So we will see you then next week on Tuesday at 6. And I do want to start the classes with the mental yoga in English. I'm just not sure I'm going to get any participants because I am actually moving backwards in Twitter, not forward. And I know our posts are good. So whenever it is that the powers that be, and I'm not talking about the people from Twitter, whenever it is that it would be intelligent for me to have a wider presence in the public, it'll happen. Because that's my intention. Okay? Thank you for joining me.